Welcome to Coming Distraction, presented by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Terrence, and with me, my special guest today is Deacon.
Hey, what's up? Hello.
We are here to review the 2019 horror film, Pet Sematary. This is basically a remake or retelling of the popular 1983 Stephen King novel, and it was made into a movie in 1989. And this is basically the retelling of that. This is starring Jason Clarke, Amy Seimetz. I don't know who that is, and a bunch of other people, including John Lithgow. It's about the Creed family. They moved from Maine to Ludlow, Maine. I guess it's Boston, Maine to Ludlow, Maine, to get away from the big city, and they move on to some property that has a pet cemetery. I've seen the original.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time since I've seen the original.
Yeah,
I don't remember the original being all that great. But what did you think of this particular movie?
Yeah,
because I have feelings about it.
I wasn't happy with it. As somebody who loves horror movies, I'm a horror fan. I've been looking forward to this. I've seen the original. It's, like you said, it's been a while though. I definitely want to revisit.
How much of the original do you remember? Because after watching this last night, I went back to kind of look at bits and pieces of the original, just to kind of see what was different.
Yeah, I don't remember the end. That's the crazy thing. I need to go watch. That's why I need to go watch it again. Well, to see where they go with it.
Well, this is really a spoiler for the end of the original one.
It might be. I wouldn't say anything. I'm not going. I ain't mentioning it down there. But yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it. It had some good moments. It had some bad moments, like any movie. The pacing was fairly decent. And also it's a tight like an hour, 40 minutes. It's a quick movie.
It's 101 minutes.
It has some pacing issues, but they had some great moments within the bad moments, which was kind of conflicting because at one moment one minute I'd be like, okay, all right, here we go. And then they may do something I don't really care for. What really had me come down to say, you know what, I don't really care for this movie all that much, was probably how they chose to wrap the movie up. Was the ending. The performances, that's the crazy thing. The performances weren't bad. Jason Clarke did good. The woman, what's her name? Amy Seimetz. She did good as a wife.
That's why, yeah.
John Lithgow is John Lithgow. He didn't do anything great, but he was solid. One of the actors that did stand out was the young girl that played Ellie.
Jatae Lawrence is her name.
Yeah, she did pretty good, especially once. Well, it's not a spoiler. Once she makes that turn where she's resurrected from the pet cemetery, like she did very well with that. Right. Especially even some of the physicality of it was kind of took me back.
She was dope.
Yeah, yeah. But overall, it didn't hit like I thought it was going to hit.
Right. Me being a horror fan, I was just kind of bored.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie. From the original one, the original one at the end, towards the end of the movie, it turned into like a circus. It was kind of ridiculous because it's the little boy that gets hit by the bus, right? And he just starts wilding. It's like he kills a bunch of people. This one, it's of course, it's the older sibling, right. And I think they chose that because the older sibling is able to convey. Because the movie itself is kind of like what happens when you die. Yeah. Because they touch on that a little bit. Because he's a doctor. The father's a doctor, and the mother she's a little religious. She's kind of religious. She also has her own she's got some wild things going on with her past. That was creepy. Yeah. I mean, in the original one, she was a little bit more prominent. Her sister.
Yeah.
Slightly more prominent in the original.
I think they kind of missed the chance right there. I thought it was going to be more to it.
Yeah. But it was just kind of okay, that just seemed like side story for no reason.
I did appreciate
even at the end.
I did appreciate the interaction between the wife and the father. As far as that dichotomy, that conflict of him being, science and her being religion. Yeah, and how that all plays out eventually in the story. So
right, and then his turn after, because of course the cat isn't I think the cat is also another great star in the movie.
Yeah. I love the cat. Was an asshole. I did love the cat.
But that turn he makes, he's like, I'm a doctor. This is what I believe, and you die as it. Yeah. But then he's like, yo, this cat was dead, yo.
Yeah, it was wild. He had to wrestle with that.
He thinking back, he did a really Jason Clarke was great in the movie. Yeah, he was. And the daughter was really good. Everybody else, the ancillary characters, John Lithgow, he's always great.
Right.
But it just felt like there was something missing. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It didn't.
The atmosphere was there at times consistently, and then they kind of relied on too many jump scares.
I don't do jump scares. I don't. They're corny to me.
Yeah, jump scares are fine at some point, especially as long as you stretch them out. But I think it got to a point where it just felt like
it's like you're waiting
scares.
For the next jump scare,
right?
Like,
and it almost became
like
kind of like time it, like okay, here comes the jump scare,
right? And that's corny to me. I don't like jump scares. Are not. They're scary because it's silent and then it's a loud noise. Right. That's cheap. That's just cheap to me.
And it's so disappointing, especially because they created a great atmosphere and tension overall,
right?
Within the movie, especially like once things started kind of get going. So you didn't need the jump scares anymore at that point,
right? I don't know. Leaving the theater, I was just kind of like, I just felt empty. Like, and then the way it ended, I'm like,
yeah,
really? That's it. All right, that's cool, fine, whatever. That's fine. But overall, like. It's not bad. It's not a bad movie. Like if you like to be scared, if you're not like a huge horror fan, but every once in a while you like to be scared, I guess it's worth seeing. I wouldn't pay for it. Like I wouldn't go to the movie theater for it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like if you want to see like good performances, like for a horror movie, the performances were excellent. I think Halloween. The new Halloween, the performances were excellent in that, but that's a better movie.
And I will give it one other thing too. Like I said, this is not a spoiler at this point. Just the whole sequence when Ellie dies. Even though I knew it was coming, I saw the original. I know what's going to happen. I know they switched out the baby Gage for the daughter. Even though I know all this was going to happen, that whole sequence, I felt that tension kind of ramp up, even though I knew what was about to happen.
They filmed that sequence really well.
Yeah, they did that.
What they
really
did,
good.
what was terrible was the actual Pet Cemetery beyond the Pet Cemetery, because the movie it takes place in reality. Once they get to this one part where they bury these folks, it was CG. It was like a green screen, and it was terrible. I was like. Yeah, that just took me all the way out.
I thought it was in Asgard.
It was really bad. It was not good at all. Yeah. But overall, honestly, it probably for me, I was like hovering between like a 1.5 or a 2. Like I didn't like it. Like I mean, it's fine, but for me, it just I'll probably give it like a 2 out of 5 because I just was not feeling it. And me being a horror fan, I was just sitting in the theater like. And then we had a whole bunch of other nonsense. Yeah. Like it's the type of crowd that you want to watch a horror movie in, but at the same time, like I have to review the movie too. Like if I didn't have to come here and do this, maybe the crowd would have been a little bit better. But no, they wasn't. It was fucking Harvey E show. Y'all niggas wild. But anyways, 2 out of 5. What would you get?
Oh man, 1 to 5. I've been like kind of bouncing back and forth between 2.5 and a 3. Just because I didn't hate it, I'm gonna give it a 3. I'll give you the 3. You can have that, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just bored. I don't like being. That's a cardinal sin for me, being bored in a movie, and I really don't like it. But anyway, yeah, that's our review for Pet Sematary 2019 edition.
Yes, sometimes dead is better.
Yeah, we're gonna end it there. Take it easy, folks.
Peace.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.